And a new report from Airlines for America predicts that 15.6 million passengers will fly on U.S. airlines this Labor Day weekend. And while this brings longer lines and delayed flights, Seth Kaplan of Airline Weekly is here with ways that you can actually ease travel tension over the holiday. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Austria.
So it's Memorial Day travel and Labor Day travel that people tend to kind of lose their minds. So where do we start when it comes to trying to control our anger when flying?
Yeah, well, the good news is usually things go well. And it's not that they're more likely to go wrong on a holiday weekend than any other time. It's just that when they do go wrong, because it's so busy, there aren't as many empty seats on the next flight.
Right.
So one thing, if your flight is canceled, for example, tell the airline how flexible you are. Basically, help them help you. Tell them, if you're supposed to fly to, I don't know, Miami, and that flight's canceled, tell them, hey, I don't mind going to Fort Lauderdale. I don't mind going to West Palm Beach if that gets me closer to where I'm going as quickly as possible, because they won't assume that, and that could get you to where you're going rather quickly.
Okay, yeah, that's good advice. And then pack light and try to always carry on.
Yeah, exactly. Because when things do go wrong and you have to sort of quickly switch a flight, sometimes the very first thing a gate agent will ask you, if you say, hey, I want to hop on that flight, as I said, to Fort Lauderdale, say, did you check any bags? Because it takes time to move your bag. If you haven't checked any bags, not only can it save you money these days on most airlines because they charge to check bags, but it does give you that additional flexibility if you're able to do that.
I always carry on. Don't trust them. Okay, get in line, but call.
And there, when they tell you, hey, the flight's canceled, go over, get in that line at customer service over there. Get in the line, but while you're in line, call. Hey, jump on your smartphone on the airline app. Whatever you can do to get through the airline quickly. Look, let's face it, it's basically a competition for empty seats against all your other travelers. So whatever you can do to give yourself a little bit of a leg up to grab that empty seat on the next flight just might make a difference.
And are you typically going to get through faster on the phone than standing in line?
Not necessarily, but it does give you just another way, because and the good thing is nowadays they do a pretty good job automatically finding you, the next seat to the very same airport. But it's when you have those other ideas about, hey, well, what if I fly there instead? Those kinds of things where you still usually need to talk to an agent, and whatever you can do to talk to the airline, whether it's in person, on the phone, using the app, gives you that
actual human interaction.
Yeah.
Okay, and then this is interesting. Look for a later but now earlier flight.
This happens once in a while. Let's say you're on the 1 o'clock flight and it just keeps getting delayed. 2, 3, 4 o'clock. Sometimes there's a 3 o'clock flight that ends up leaving before your flight, and they won't always automatically look for that for you. So if you see that, hey, wait a second, there's another flight that might get me there as soon or sooner, tell them that, and maybe they'll put you on that flight instead.
And I want to jump to this. You say keep a paper copy of flight details. Most people have, their boarding pass and every bit of data on their phone. Why do you say it's important to have a paper copy?
And technology is great when it works, and it usually does, but once in a while, think about what happened on Delta earlier this month, where you had all these, where there's basically the systems meltdown, and there were reports of gate agents in 2016, manually writing out boarding passes, so you want to be able to show them that record. Once in a while, when things go wrong, it's just still good to have that. You don't have to print out everything, but just something that shows that, yes, you're supposed to be on this flight. A record of that can make the difference in those rare occasions.
That is good advice that I never thought of before, but at least have a boarding pass, a paper boarding pass. All right, Seth, great advice. Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming in this morning, and hopefully everyone has a safe and smooth Labor Day travel.
Absolutely. Thank you, Austria.